Good morning and welcome to God Focus this morning. The title of our episode today is Fear is Not Faith. 1 John 4:18 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love." Fear has torment. That is one of the truest statements in the Bible. Fear gets us out from under the covering of God because fear is not faith. Circumstances can appear scary all around us, and it's easy to allow fear to overtake and cause us to worry, have anxiety, or even become depressed. I was bound by fear as a young woman. I was afraid to go anywhere alone. I was afraid of failure, and I was afraid of success. The fear of evil was very prevalent in my life. At the same time, I was also bound by depression and anxiety to the point of being suicidal. But thank God for a praying family. It was their prayers that kept me from going through with it and ending it all. I had an overwhelming fear that I couldn't even do that right and would end up a vegetable. Most people would have not realized because I put on a happy face and said all the right things. But inside I was so tied up in knots that I didn't even know there was any way out. After I sat for several hours one day at our local dam, I decided to try to get better, and I was going to have to take control and not allow fear, anxiety, and depression to control me. I also started praying for God to help me. Up to this point, I hadn't even tried to ask God for help. One day I stopped at the local elementary school, and there's a little one-lane road that I'd walked many times with others for exercise. It's about a 2-mile walk. But on this particular day, I was alone, and I was gripped by fear to walk by myself. I sat in the car for a long time trying to talk myself into getting out and walking this road. I finally told myself that I was safe to get out of the car. Nothing bad would happen if I just opened the door and got out. In a few moments, I was standing outside of my locked car, leaning against the trunk. I could feel my heart racing. I felt anything but brave. I told myself that I was crazy. I'd walked this road maybe 30, 40 times with others, and nothing bad had ever happened. But all sorts of what-if scenarios played in a circle in my mind because I was alone. At this point, I had lost my faith in God to protect me. There are multiple verses that says He watches over us. He will protect us. There is safety under the shadow of His wings. He is our strong tower. But none of those things came to mind as I wrestled with my fear. If I continued up this road, some evil person would kidnap me. A bear or mountain lion would come out of the woods and rip me to shreds. I could fall and roll over the hill and drown in the creek. The scenarios were endless. Finally, I took a deep breath and started walking slowly. A very short distance from the car was the point of no return. Right now, I could still see the car and run back to it if threatened. But there's a little small hill that once you top over it, the car is out of sight. And I stood staring at the car for a long time. I wanted to run back to it, jump inside, and lock the door. Finally, I took a deep breath and turned around and started walking again. I didn't walk far, maybe a half a mile that day, but that was the beginning of me breaking out of my fear and anxiety. When I got close to the car, I jogged to it and locked the door quickly. Then I sat there breathing, but I had an amazing feeling of accomplishment, like I assumed it would feel to win a marathon. I've walked further distances many times, but that was the most difficult walk of my life. If we magnify God and look to Him, He will help us to not have fear, anxiety, or depression. He is our rock and our deliverer. The Bible tells us many places, do not fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. Faith is believing that even though things look bad, God will work it out. Fear is when we don't believe that God will take care of the situation. God's got it. He will see us through it. We just have to be strong enough to step out in faith and start walking. Fear is the opposite of faith, so the more we exercise our faith, the less fear will have a grip on us. It's hard to flip from fear to faith. but God will help us if we trust Him. It's not something that we can do on our own. Take it from someone who has battled fear. I've been there. It's something that can be conquered. It's something that you can overcome, but it's not something you can do on your own. It takes getting in the Word, digging out all the scriptures that says He is our fortress, our strong tower. He is our protector, our deliverer. He is our rock, our strength. And once you realize all that, you have no reason to fear because He goes with you everywhere you go. Thanks for spending some time with me. Until next time, be bold, be brave, keep your God focus. Like, share, and subscribe for more encouragement. Have a good weekend.